guys, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. Today we are going to be hopefully finishing this guy up. The only thing that's left to do that I can see is it does have an ABS light, which, here I'll show you. It does have an ABS light on here, as you can tell. So what I've done is I hooked up my scanner, and for whatever reason it will not read the ABS code. So what we're going to do is we are going to manually check these codes. So we're getting those two, basically the front wheel speed sensors, which I did order, and they are actually right here, in here. So what we are going to do is, basically this is it. So we've got a couple little grommets that go in, and then one clip. It should be a pretty quick and straightforward change. What I'm going to do is we'll get this tire off and I'll show you guys what that looks like, and then we will do it to the other side. To clear the codes, it says to take the negative terminal off the battery for 60 seconds. So we're going to take it off for a couple of minutes, and hopefully that resets the ABS, and we'll do the test again and see what codes we get now that they're changed. So without further ado, let's get this wheel off, get these so that I can show you, and then I'm probably not going to take it off for the other side because I don't think it needs to come off, but if we have to, we have to. Clear the codes, and then we will check if we have any other codes. So let's get this wheel off. Alright, so we got our wheel off. Basically what we're replacing is this right here. So it runs, see your little clip here, another little clip here, and it's right here. So we just got to take this bolt off, take our grommet out, undo these two here, and then our clip is right behind here in clipped into this metal bracket. So let's get these two and this bolt out. They look like 10s, and this one slightly larger, maybe a 12. So let's get those out, and then I will get back with you guys. So we got these two out. Basically this is what the back side looks like. All you're gonna do is first, what I'm gonna do is go to the back side and get our clips out, and then from there I'm going to disconnect our connection, and that's all set. The big problem is this bolt snapped off, so we're probably gonna have to drill that out and hope we don't ruin any threads and whatnot. So that's not going to be fun, but we'll get her taken care of, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so we got some of it out. It was pretty roached. So basically what I'm going to do is I need to run and grab some penetrating fluid. So what I'm going to do is get this side as far out as I can get it, and then I'll go get some penetrating fluid. I'll do both of those with some penetrating fluid, and then I will come back to it and see if I can't get it out. I may actually wait until, I'll give it a shot. That one looks like it's been replaced semi-recently, so I'll give it a shot. And if I break it off, I break it off. This is what it is. see, I've broken this side off too. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go get some penetrating fluid. I'm just going to let it sit. Maybe this one will come out a little bit easier than the other one. Yeah, so I will probably catch back up with you guys tomorrow. I'm going to spray it a couple times tonight and let it sit, and hopefully she comes off pretty easy in the morning. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so this little update. We are several days later. We had a little house fiasco, not a big deal. So we are a couple days later, almost a week actually. So I've already done the passenger side, as you can see. I got the old one out, and you can see this is the new cable. You can see there's a new bracket and everything. So I'm going to show you how to do it on these Pathfinders. So it's really not hard. It took me a while of troubleshooting on the other side to figure it out, but basically I am going to run through real quick how to take it out. Basically the easiest way to do it is to take everything off here, the hub and the rotor, and then hammer it out from the inside. So let's get everything taken off real quick, and then I'll show you how to take everything off real quick, and we'll get that swapped out, throw it all back together, and then we'll check those codes again. So first things first, we're going to get this brake caliper out of the way. It's hard to see, but there is basically two nuts, one on top of the other right here in the back. We're going to just take those off, and we're going to zip tie it up here to the coil spring. So let's get that up there. That's no different than any other car, really. And then I'll kind of walk you through taking this hub apart. Step number one, get that caliper off. We've got it hung up here. I'll show you real quick. Caliper hung by the coil. Basically, the first step after that, or the next step after that, is to get this cap off. Alright, next you're going to want a set of these C-clip pliers. It's right here. Take the retaining clip off without losing it. Got it. Alright, next we need to take these 6 nuts off. They are 13s. Let me grab this side, I believe. Okay. So, like I said, we will, next is these 6 nuts here. They are 13. And then this pulls right off. It's a little stubborn sometimes, but one side and the other, it'll come right off. Comes right off. Okay guys, so we got this cover off. Next, we need a Phillips screwdriver. to take these screws out. There's one up there, one directly opposite that. Okay. So the next part is the part that took me a little while to figure out because I had never done this before, but this piece that we just unscrewed is threaded. So you just take something and put it onto sorry, skipped a step. We just unscrewed this. Basically it's a little cover that you pull off. Generally a magnet is the best thing I've seen to do it, but I don't have one handy, so there we go, just like that. So next we'll get to that part. The next part is the part that unscrews. You just take a punch, or I'm going to use my pry bar, put it on. There's two larger holes that are not threaded. All the rest are threaded. So put it on the larger hole, just because you don't want to ruin any threads. Give it a couple taps in a counterclockwise direction, and it will loosen right up. I'll take my pick and unscrew it. And just like that, that grease needs to be replaced. That's pretty nasty. Just like that, we have got our hub off. Or, not our hub, our caliper. Alright guys, so just be wary when you take that caliper off. The hub has a bearing in there that will just fall out, so just be mindful of that. So in the next thing is our sensor. It's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pry bar and see if I can't get an angle on it where I can push this thing out. I thought I might be able to use a socket, but then I wouldn't be able to hammer it. So let's see how this goes. It's not a very good spot. Alright, this is not the fun part. So on the other one I had to drill it out. I basically just drilled through from the back and then I punched everything through, and it looks like that's what we're going to have to do here also, because I can't really get a good swing on it. So with that being said, I will catch up with you guys when I get that out. To get it out, it did take a lot of hammering and drilling, and so basically all I did was, it's a magnet in the center, so I tried to drill out the plastic on the outside, and then I just kind of hammered it out. I used my hammer and just a Harbor Freight pry bar. Worked out. I'm just going to clean it up, and then it's time to start putting everything back together. So I'm going to clean it up, and then I did make a mess of all the internals of it here in the grease of the spindle, so we'll get all that cleaned up. We'll get some fresh grease put on there, and then as we put it together, we're going to repack that bearing with fresh grease. Clean up the spacer that has grease on it, and just kind of throw everything back together with good stuff. Then we should be good to go to test our codes again. Alright, so we got our hub all packed with grease. We got the old grease out and put some new stuff. When I pack it, I just put it in there. It's just a grease packer, and you just push on it until it's forced basically all the old grease out. Pretty simple. So now that we have everything greased, we will handle that ring when we get to putting it on. Now that we have all that stuff done, let's start reassembling everything. Just so a little note. Yeah, let me fix this. Just a little note. When you do this, make sure you keep the orientation of what you screwed on. So that when you put your other little spacer that you use the Phillips screw for, you know where all of your screw points are, because you just got to line them up, that's all, because there's a lot more holes in the other piece than there is in this piece, so just make sure you line those up. Okay, so I'm not sure how much of that got screwed up but in the videoing there, but we did get it all back together. It does go back together the exact opposite that it comes out. There's nothing special to it. You got your ring, or your locking washer that basically screws on and holds the hub on. Then you've got your little washer that you screw the Phillips screw into that holds the previous lock washer on, that screws on. And then from there you've got this outer cover, 6 screws, and then from there that lock washer that holds the axle in. And then from there just your cap. So the only thing that's left to do is we got to put our caliper back on, and then we can put in the new speed sensor. So I'm going to throw this in first, and then we'll get to that speed sensor. Alrighty guys. Alright guys. Still shaking. Alright guys, so what we've got left is just the new sensor. So all of that just to get the old sensor out. I'm just going to run a wire brush in there to clean it up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put just a small bit of grease on the black part here to help it slide into there, because it is basically a press fit into there. That's why I'm not overly worried about the bolt that I broke off, because it's not something that can really come out. You saw how hard it was to get the old one out, and then that's not just because it's been in there forever, it's also part because this is basically press fit in there. I had to hammer the other one on the other side in, so let me clean out that hole, we'll throw some grease on, and then we'll get this little thing installed. we have completed our install. That is everything done. All I gotta do is put the wheels back on and clean up the giant mess that I've made. So I'm gonna clean up real quick. We're gonna slap the tires on, and then we will check our codes again. So as you can see, we did get our mess picked up. We got the wheels back on, both sides are cleaned up. But we got our battery hooked up, and we've got our, probably can't see maybe the reflection of it down here, but I still got the wire in there. So let's see what we get for ABS codes. Okay, so that's what I thought. So we got all the same codes as last time. It showed 12, 25, or 12, 26, 21, 25, which are all the same codes as last time, which are the front speed sensors. So what we're gonna do is tomorrow I will catch back up with you guys, and we will take this for a drive down the road and see if some of that stuff won't reset. I'm also going to disconnect both terminals to the battery because I'm pretty sure I read that if you take the positive off for, I don't know, a minute or something, it will erase the code. So we'll leave the battery unhooked all night, and then tomorrow I will catch up with you guys. We will hook everything back up and see if we can't get those lights to go out. I hope they do. I hope it's not something else, but we'll see. So with that being said, we'll catch you tomorrow. Alright guys, so we've literally just pulled it out of the garage, and check that out. No ABS light. So just out of curiosity, so it was for sure just those two front wheel sensors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug it in the same way we did before and see if it only gives me that 12 code to tell me that it's cycled through all the codes. So I got my handy dandy wire here. So let's see if we can hook this back up. Just like that. And I don't know that it's gonna work because there aren't any codes, or how that works, but either way, all the codes are gone. So that means that this car's ready to be sold. So if you, with that said, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.